Hi, thank you for joining me today. We're just back from a fabulous trip to New York for New Year. It was a really special, amazing time, and I wanted to start documenting those photos. So this is a picture of the four of us outside the fountain at the Plaza Hotel on Manhattan. I've just printed it 4x6, and this is actually going to be a page kit for Hey Little Magpie. So if you're interested in the page kit, I'll link it in the description box down below. I'm going to provide the page kit with the alphabet and without the alphabet. So it's just using 3 papers here. This stripy paper is from Stargazer from Jen Hadfield. This navy blue one is from Vicky Boutin's print shop. And then the base page is one of Maggie Holmes' papers. So you can see I'm just tearing a 12-inch strip of that stripy paper, and then I'm also going to tear a 12-inch strip of this gorgeous triangular paper. I will actually trim down the black and white striped paper shortly because I want to have a staggered background behind the photo. So as I say, the photo is just printed 4x6, and then I've matted it onto a piece of white cardstock just so that it pops a little bit against those papers, because this is quite a monochromatic layout. I've just got the black with the different blues in it, and I'm going to bring in some lace here and also some of our American seam binding in the lovely navy blue again. This is just pulling out the colours in our photo. Ross has got a navy blue coat on, and then the rest of us are all in black, and Amelia's got her jeans on there which are blue. So I just thought these colours will work really nicely with this photo. So you can see I've just trimmed a little bit off that stripy paper there, and now I'm gluing everything down now that I'm happy with the placement, and then I'm going to roll up those edges just to create a little bit of interest on that paper. I really like the way that these rolled edges look on a page. So I found quite often it's easier to do that once the paper is actually in situ. So that's why I've done it that way around. So you can see there's a little die cut in the bottom right hand corner of a compass. That's the new die that we've got at Hey Little Magpie. So I just wanted to include that on the page. I think all my travel layouts will have that die cut on there. I think I can see it's going to be very versatile. So just adding some foam pads behind the picture just to raise it up on top of those rolled edges, and then using my T-square ruler to check that this is straight. And in fact, when I go to take the photo, I realise it isn't straight, so I do have to pull it up and reposition it again, but it's fine. Those foam pads are quite forgiving. So I'm just running a bead of glue down that long edge of the stripy paper, and then I'm going to stick the lace down, and then the same with the seam binding, just running a bead of glue where I want it to go, and then I'm just going to ruche it up as I go down the page. This is about 12 inches long, so I just want to ruche it up so that it's taking up about 10 inches of the space vertically. So just messing about a little bit to make sure that I get it how I want it. And then the title is going to run down the left-hand side of that photo. I'm using these Fernwood alphabet thickers, and as I say, there's an option to have these with your kit or without if you want to buy the kit, or just use your own stash if you want to recreate this layout. So I'm going to spell the Plaza. I wasn't quite sure when I first started pulling the letters off. I was going to put Exploring New York, and couldn't decide, but then I decided on the Plaza. And you'll see I do pull out NYC and put that at the bottom, but I take that off in the end. I just prefer the title going along the side of the photo like that. So there's the NYC that I've pulled off, and I'm just, for now, just popping it on the bottom, but as I say, I do end up leaving that in the end. So now going back to the paper, this stripy paper has some lovely buildings on the background, on the reverse side, sorry. So I'm just cutting out 3 of those buildings. I've gone for the flat-topped buildings because that's what you see all over New York with the skyscrapers. So I thought that would work nicely with this photo and this memory. But you just choose 3 buildings that you like the look of if you're recreating this layout. And at first I layer them to the right of the photo, but they do actually end up underneath the photo. I prefer keeping that vertical line in the end, and with that compass it was difficult to fit everything in comfortably, so so I'm just trimming out 3 of those buildings. I do like things in 3s. I just think they work nicely, they sit nicely together. So just stacking those up together there. And if I didn't have that compass, I probably would have pulled out a line to the right hand side of the photo, but because I wanted to use that compass and that lovely Flair badge that says snapshots, I decided to bring those buildings down in the end. So bringing in some tickets from 49er Market, just a couple of blue ones, and then a couple of the stamps from the same box. I think this is the Inkwell collection. And just adding those to the right hand side of the photo. And this is where I decided to move everything around. So I put the compass there, the Flair badge to anchor those tickets and stamps, and then the compass just tucks in neatly underneath. So this is where I pull off the NYC. I decide that it's not needed. This is going to go in an album, probably an album of the trip. It'll have its own album, so I don't really need to put New York City on every single layout. So just gluing these houses down now. And I want to take them right down more or less to the bottom of the page. I just leave a tiny gap underneath that bottom one, but you could take it straight to the bottom if you wanted. And then gluing these tickets down and the stamps, and then, like I say, using that Flair badge as the anchor to hold those in place, just so it looks finished really. And then adding that compass die cut, and it's just been die cut from white cardstock, just a scrap of white cardstock. So now I'm happy with that. I'm going to bring in one of our resin dots, again in navy and wood grain, so it works really nicely with the colours of this layout. And then some of the sparkly enamel dots, just in white, so 3 at the bottom and 3 at the top. And they just add a nice little finishing touch, if you like. So now I'm using this tab. I've used the EK Success tab punch for this, and I'm just going to glue it to the top of the photo and then use my roller date stamp to add the date to that on a scrap of white card again. So just gluing that in place, gluing down that resin dot because that hadn't been glued, and then adding the date, as I say. So just onto a scrap of white card, and then I can cut that out as a strip and stick it neatly onto that black tab. And you can see I'm just using my wet glue all the time today for ease. And then some journaling at the bottom, just a tiny bit of journaling that reads, "A rare photo of the 4 of us in front of the Plaza Fountain before exploring Central Park." And final touch is these 3 little wood chevrons from JD3D. And that's the layout done. I really hope you've enjoyed this process. It's lovely to be back scrapping again after a little break away with the family. And I shall see you again very soon. Thanks again. Bye.